Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Box on the Beltway Podcast Network. You can hear the Box on the Beltway News and Notes in the podcast on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, TuneIn, and on Stitcher.com. And hopefully we'll be back on Google Podcasts again because Spreaker Studio, I think, has allowed us to do that. So hopefully we can get back on Google Podcasts one more time. And this week's podcast is going to be a little bit of a catch-up. We took a week off. We had a lot of things going on in my personal life and professional life, and so had to take a week off, but we're back in a big way because we got a lot of catching up to do this week. And of course, this is the big week. This is the big fight week of Jared Hurd versus Julian Williams at Eagle Bank Arena in Fairfax, Virginia. We will have the full time lineup for you for that card, and hopefully during the week, as we go to the press conference as well as the weigh-in, we'll give you a full preview of that big card at the Eagle Bank Arena in Fairfax, Virginia, on the campus of George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. Box on the Beltway News and Notes on the Box on the Beltway Podcast Network is brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything between, Boxing Law on the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, you buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, we have great weight loss tips for you. You can do weight loss without dieting, eating real food along the way at Deborah, DEBRA Spears.com. Now, before we get into our recap, I want to dedicate this podcast to a very good friend of mine who passed away a couple of weeks ago. His funeral services were this past weekend. And he was a guy that worked with us on our Belt Boxing Spotlight card. He's one of my H camera operators. Yeah, I think he also worked with the Ballroom Boxing Series, which was kind of a spinoff of what we did on Boxing Spotlight. His name was Daryl McKenzie. We knew him as Bear on the show. He was a great camera operator. He loved boxing. He and I shared a love of jazz music as well, and he passed away a couple weeks ago after a long illness. And his funeral services this past weekend, myself, the fight Dr. Jones Spears, who was a very big friend of his, as we all were, but he and Bear go back a long way, back to their days at Morgan State University. And Discombobulating Jones, and also Marvin McDowell from Umar Gym. We were all at his memorial service this past weekend, and we gave him a memorial 10 count. It was really, really, really wonderful, and everybody was very happy about that. We were very honored to be a part of that. So today's podcast dedicated to Daryl Bear McKenzie. And we have a lot of catching up to do because we took that week off and a lot of things are going on. So we're going to go over the last couple of weeks before we move into the big card coming up this weekend. And, of course, one of the big events took place this past Saturday on at May 4th on the Canelo Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs card. That was on the Zone. I didn't get a chance to see because I don't have the Zone. But one of the undercard bouts was Lamont Rose Jr., and he remains undefeated out of Marlboro, Maryland, super featherweight. He successfully defended his WBO International Super Featherweight title. He also won the NABO Super Featherweight Championship. It was a tough bout, though. 10-round unanimous decision win over veteran world title contender Jonathan Oquendo. He's out of Vega Alta, Puerto Rico. Now, I got a report from FightNews.com, my colleagues at FightNews.com, Miguel Maravilla and David Robinette, and they both said the bout was a rough one, no question about that. And in the first round, Roger was stunned by Oquendo, and he got caught with a left hook. It drew blood from his nose, and on and off the fight, the blood was coming out of his nose. Oquendo was coming forward during the early rounds, and Roach was surprisingly immobile during the bout, and he almost got dropped in the fourth round. But Roach came back and fought well in the fifth round, and really fought well the rest of the fight. The fight was kind of alternating, but it was a good bout. Roach was moving more, stuck and moved more, boxing smartly for short spurts, relying on his hand speed to land meaningful, albeit sporadic combinations. Roach was complaining that Oquendo was leading with his head. Referee Russell Moore took away a point from that. That may be one of the big differences in the bout in this situation. But at the end, Roach won by scores of 96-93 and 97-93 twice. Now, many people I've talked to who saw the bout said that score, 97-93, was a little bit A little bit ridiculous, in all honesty. But Roach got the win, tough win. He's 19-0-1, 7 KOs. Oquendo falls to 30-6, 19 KOs. Now, Roach should be now the number one contender for the WBO Super Featherweight title, currently held by Masayuki Ito of Japan, who has a bout coming up. He fights Jamel Herring, coming up later on this month. So we assume that Roach will be the number one contender, get the winner of that bout coming up. So we'll see what happens. So congratulations once again to Lamont Roach Jr. Big win for him, no question about that. Tremendous win there. As you know by now, the May 4th Waldorf card did not happen this past weekend. It was postponed. No reason was given for the postponement, although I do know there was some issues with boxers and things of that nature. So, regular old stuff that goes on. So the card has been rescheduled to take place on Saturday, June 1st at the same location. So we got a week off, but we will have 4 straight weeks after with May 11th, May 18th, May 25th, and June 1st on the Beltway. So we still have a streak going on, albeit at the end of the streak. So that takes care of what took place that weekend. On the TAC Promotions card at Tyson's Playground in Vienna, Virginia. This goes back a couple weeks now. We're going back a couple weeks in our situation, because we had a lot of things took place on April 27th. We just needed a chance to really talk about it on the podcast. We do have it all on the blog, so we make sure you're caught up on the blog, boxonbeltway.blogspot.com. But Vienna, Virginia, at Tyson's Playground, Francisco Bustos won a second round TKO over Eddie Gates of Jacksonville, Florida. He was knocked out. Gates was knocked out at 2:46 of the second round. Bustos is now 9-0, 6 KOs. Gates falls to 2-12, 1 KOs. Cornell Hitman Hines out of D.C. He's now 5-0. He won a 4-round split decision over the debuting George Gethers of New Jersey. We didn't get any word on the scorecards, but Hines is now 5-0, 2 KOs to his credit. Rashad Cold-Blue Kilpatrick of Waldorf, Maryland. He's a welterweight. Won by first round TKO over Mike Blocker of Spartanburg, South Carolina at 128 of the first round. Kilpatrick is 5-0, 2 KOs. Blocker is 0-2. Marlon the Machine Bowen out of Bowie, Maryland. He's a welterweight as well. He won by 4-round unanimous decision over DC's Lamont White. Again, no word on the scores. But Bowen is 2-0, 1 KO. White is now 1-18, 1 KO. Ibrahim Jawar, he won his first pro bout as he scored a second-round TKO over Damian El Dinero Campbell of Monroeville, Pennsylvania. He was knocked out at 251 of the second round. Jawara is now 1-1, 1 KO. Campbell falls to 0-3. Those are all the Beltway boxes on that show. Victor Miles out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, won a 4-round unanimous decision on Antonio Allen. Miles made his pro debut successfully. Allen is 0-10-1. Damon Towns of Raleigh, North Carolina, knocked out Terrence Brown of Wilson, North Carolina, 122 of the first round. Towns is 2-0, 2 KOs. Brown is 0-3. And also debuting heavyweight Norman Neely won by 4th-round TKO over Lamar Lewis of Arkansas, 150 of the 4th round, and Lewis is 0-5. So that's the results from the TAC Promotions card in Vienna, Virginia. Now, the Regional Golden Gloves, they kick off today, by the way, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and a lot of great things going on. We're not going to go over the whole card here, but the team going to Chattanooga should be pretty interesting. A couple of good things. Now, this year, like I did last year, both the men and the women compete at the same time this year. That wasn't always the case, but as of last year, that took place. So, a couple of key people to watch for in this one. Nicholas Sullivan out of Portsmouth, Virginia. This is the big guy right here. This guy he won his battle with Jalen Jones of Washington, D.C. at 141 pounds. And for the second straight year, he was named the outstanding boxer of the Regional Golden Gloves. Kelvin Davis won 152 pounds over Deshaun Chase. Now, I'm questioning whether or not Joe Chachunji, I assume so far we haven't heard anything whether or not he won't be there. But Joe Chachunji out of Silver Spring, Maryland, he's at 178 pounds. Malik Titus out of 201 plus pounds. He's won 3 straight regional titles at 201 plus pounds. He also had won 2 titles at 201 pounds back in 2014 and 2015. And also Shaquille Daly, who was the outstanding boxer of the Washington Golden Gloves, will be a part of this team as well. So it should be interesting to see what happens in Chattanooga. We'll try to follow as best we can for the National Golden Gloves coming up. And of course, not only was Bobby Magruder honored this past weekend at the Hall of Fame, but also Brent Bovell was honored at the National Golden Gloves this week, earlier yesterday, as a matter of fact, so Sunday. So congratulations to both of them. Now, as far as the novice is concerned, Saquon Epps was a big winner there. He beat Jeffrey Yu of Oakland, Virginia. Victor Williams out of Arlington, Virginia beat Stephon Jordan of Germantown, Maryland. Michael Hines, Washington, D.C. Again, you can read the whole situation on the blog, boxonbeltway.blogspot.com. So that was the regional Golden Gloves at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. Meanwhile, I had a very big honor of going and participating and being a ring announcer for the 2019 Belfast Beltway Boxing Classic that took place on April 27th at the Marriott Washington Wardman Park Hotel, in Washington, D.C. We had some great bouts today, guys. We really did. We had, I think, out of the 13 bouts, 6 of them were decided by 3-2 decisions. And that's rare. It was very, very rare. And the big bout, actually one of the ones that wasn't, was still a great bout, and the fans just absolutely loved it. It was a 67 to 70 pound division bout between Michael O'Connor of Oxon Hill Gym and LeVar Adams of No Games. I don't exactly know where No Games is from, but Michael O'Connor won that bout, and he looked very good against LeVar Adams. But both these guys fought their hearts out, and the audience gave him a standing ovation after the bout was over. It was a tremendous bout, no question about that. Now we had to take a look at the O'Connor brothers. These kids are pretty good. Michael and Patrick O'Connor. I was very impressed with both of them. And that's be very interesting to see what happens with them going forward. They're both out of Oxon Hill Gym and both won their bouts. Patrick won his bout over Oxon Hill teammate Joshua Briggs. Now, there weren't a whole lot of Beltway versus Belfast bouts on this card. We had Keith Burrows defeating Darumu Bradley. He was out of Holy Trinity in Belfast. Reginald Clark won his bout. He's out of Oxon Hill as well. Won his bout over Thomas Orr in Lisburn. Gary Arthurs of Gleen in Ireland. He beat Dante Smith at 150 pounds. Jamal Harvey out of Oxon Hill had a good bout against Peter Devine at 120 pounds. Peter Devine out of Oliver Plunkett Gym. Edward McDonough of Galway Gym defeated Francis Poulos with Diamond in the Rough at 200 pounds. And Samson Hayes defeated Rory Traynor at 150 pounds. Deontay Washington lost to Aaron Daly of Castlebar at 150 pounds. Rory Trainor's out of Ardennais Holy Cross. Well, it was a big event. It was great to see people supporting the Belfast Beltway Classic. They supported financially as well, including, I gotta mention this. I know he probably doesn't want me to mention it, but I want to do it anyway. The commissioner of the DC Boxing Wrestling Commission, Adam Weirs, was in attendance and did not want to take any kind of favor. And I really kind of argued with myself whether I wanted to introduce him and show him, but he kind of introduced himself because he'd given some money to send a kid to Belfast. So he sat way in the back. He he did not want to get any airs and didn't want to look for the publicity. He just did it out of the goodness of his heart, and that's a great guy, no question about that. So congratulations to Adam Weirs, no question about that. Now, as far as pros concerned, a couple of our pros got some wins over a couple weeks ago. First of all, at the Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, California, Mike Yes Indeed Reed at a Waldorf, Maryland super lightweight. He came back with a second round TKO over Yardley Cruz of like Mochi, Sinaloa, Mexico. Reed was battering Cruz all over the contest. Oh, he just knocked him back and forth, landing lefts and rights at will. And as I said on the blog, Cruz was a punching bag with feet as he took all that punishment in the bout. He never went down, but Cruz was in no condition to continue the contest. And referee Edward Hernandez stopped the bout at 145 of the second round. So the win breaks a 2-bout losing streak for Reed. He's now 24-2 with 13 KOs. Cruz is now 25-14 with 15 KOs. So a good win. Good comeback win for Mike Yes Indeed Reed, who's under actually new management right now. He is out. I don't believe he's with Top Frank anymore, but he's co-managed now by Lamont Rhodes Sr., Lamont Rhodes Sr. and Ross Smolivinsky of Keystone Boxing. So he's got some new management. We'll see how he goes going forward. Meanwhile, a couple of guys got wins in Philadelphia on April the 26th. Baltimore, Maryland welterweight Malik Iceman Hawkins, he remained undefeated with an 8-round unanimous decision over Andre Byrd of Jacksonville, Florida. Hawkins seemed to be complete control of the bout. He forced Byrd to take a knee in round 7. Hawkins won by 2 judges' scorecards by shutout, 80-71, and 1 card by 78-74 score. Hawkins remained undefeated, 15-0, 9 KOs. Byrd is now 7-7-2 with 1 KO. But a nice upset by Silver Spring, Maryland super featherweight Suleiman Segawa as he defeated previously undefeated boxer Godwin Abayarde Rosa of Ocala, Florida by 8-round unanimous decision. Segawa reportedly was strong in the early stages of the bout. He won by scores of 80-72 and 79-73 twice. So Segawa now 12-2, 4 KOs, while Rosa falls to 10-1 with 8 KOs. So a good win for Suleiman Segawa as well as for Malik Iceman Hawkins. By the way, Hawkins won a minor title with his win, won the NBA welterweight title. Also on Friday, April 26th, Emmanuel Transformer Taylor, he lost a 10-round unanimous decision to undefeated Shakram Gayasov of Brooklyn, New York, by way of Uzbekistan. That was at the Forum in Inglewood, California. Now, another one of my FightNews.com comrades, Rocky Morales, says that Gayasov, who's a 2016 Olympic silver medalist, he was the busier boxer in the bout. Taylor had him wobbled a couple of times, forcing Gayasov to hang on. Taylor tried to trade with Gayasov in the later round, but gave up too much early. Taylor lost by scores of 99-91 twice and 97-93. And with the win, Gayasov earns the WBA International Super Lightweight title. Taylor falls to 20-6, 14 KOs. Gayasov remains undefeated, 8-0 with 6 KOs. All right, so we're now all caught up. Yeah, to do a little catch up there. Now let's talk about this week. And this is a big week, no question about that. We have the big card at the Eagle Bank Arena on the campus of George Mason University on Saturday, May 11th. Also on Saturday, May 11th, big bout for Michael, the Professor Fox, out of Forestville, Maryland. He's super lightweight. He returns to action in a 10-round contest against undefeated Fazi Gabnazarov. That's the best I'm going to do today. Fazi Gabnazarov of Los Angeles, California, by way of Uzbekistan at the Tucson Arena in Tucson, Arizona. Now, Fox is 19-1, 5 KOs. He looks to bounce back from his first pro loss, a 10-round unanimous decision defeat to undefeated Shojahan Ergashev on February 15th in Mulvane, Kansas. Now, that's an interesting situation here. He's fighting another person from the former Soviet Union countries, and it should be interesting to see what happens here. And this guy's no joke. Gabnazarov is 7-0, 4 KOs. He won a gold medal at the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Now, one of those wins going to the gold medal was a quarterfinal win against our very own Antoine Russell. And a lot of people thought Russell may have won that fight. I remember that fight distinctly. And a lot of people thought he might have won that fight, but Gabnazarov won it and went all the way to win the gold medal in 2016. Now, as a pro, Gabnazarov coming off a 4th-round stoppage of Ricardo Garcia on January 18th in Verona, New York at the Turning Stone Casino. So that's coming up, a 10-round bout, a big bout for Michael Fox, no question about that. Now, this bout will be shown on ESPN Plus with the preliminaries of this top-ranked card starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can see the bout. If you have ESPN Plus, you can see the bout between Michael Fox and Vasilyan Gabnazarov. Now, let's talk about what's going on here at the Eagle Bank Arena in Fairfax, Virginia. Of course, that's the big card featuring Jarrett Hurd defending all of his titles against Julian J. Rock Williams of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, let's start with the event situation as far as the time and everything. The first bout is scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. First bout begins at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. There are about 8 Beltway boxes on this card. Coming up later on this week, I'm going to be at the press conference as well as the weigh-in. We'll try to get you the full card later on this week here on the podcast on Beltway Boxing, on Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. But the first bout for this card begins at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The PBC on Fox and the Fox Deportes broadcast, that begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll include, of course, the main event, Jared Hurd taking on Hurd-Williams. Also, Emmanuel Alim will be on the televised portion of this card as well. So that's an interesting bout. So interesting card. So once again, the first bout begins at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you don't have your tickets by now, I've heard that it's could be kind of scant. I heard it's very close to a sellout in at Eagle Bank Arena. So we'll see what happens. But first bout begins at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and the PBC on Fox Deportes broadcast begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So once again, later on in the week, we'll have a full update for you on any last minute changes as far as the card coming up. It's been pretty solid so far. So it looks like it's gonna be a solid card. Everything's intact. So we'll see what happens coming up this coming Saturday, May 11th, from the Eagle Bank Arena on the campus of George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. Should be a good one, no question about that. So that'll do it for another week of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Remember, the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network brings you Beltway Boxing News and Notes, and it's brought to you also by Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief if you order $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. Great weight loss tips, great jewelry at Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Don't forget, you can also listen to the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network on YouTube. And if you go to my Twitter page at Digital25, you can listen to the podcast as well. Don't forget to go to Best Buy and Amazon links on the Boxing on Beltway blog at boxingonbeltway.blogspot.com. Make your orders from that blog. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams, reminding you as always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Don't forget to join me on Saturday, May 11th, from the Eagle Bank Arena in Fairfax, Virginia. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Take care.